So this is the moment you've been waiting for, the smoke test. Now, this is smoke test 1. You can see I've put a metal plate across here with a piece of conveyor belt, rubber, because you see when we were testing before, smoke can get up through the piston rings, because this is new, it can get up through the piston rings into the combustion chamber, and if there's a valve open, it'll eventually work its way through the ports, through the turbo or the intake, whereas this eliminates that. So this is stage 1, and then I'm going to fit the turbo, if this doesn't leak, I'm going to fit the turbo, etc., get it all built up, and then we'll test it again. But so far so good. So let's test it. If you can hear a noise outside, the council have actually got round to fixing that great big hole in my yard we had 10 months ago with that winter storm. So they've actually took them 10 months to get round to doing it. Anyway, unfortunately you might not be able to hear, the smoke machine is bubbling, so there's a leak, but it's not from the crank. You can see here I fitted the crankshaft bolts with some fluon tape, some thread tape, just to make a seal. This is great, there's no problems there at all, but there is a leak, and I don't know if you can see, this camera's not very good at picking up the smoke, but I can see where it's leaking from. Here. There. You see it? Just got to get some soap on the right place. There. Did you see that? Do it once more. There, look at that. Whoa! Poof! A big smoky bubble. So, it needs a cyclone separator. And it just so happens I've got one. I always keep one on the shelf. This one's a Bearmark one made in Turkey. And there you go. Now, I'll just throw that over there. Throw it on fire. Oh, look at my collar stuck up. What a scruff. This O-ring on here, this one sits a little bit more pronounced than that one. But that one's not leaking. That one's not leaking on the O-ring. I checked it with the soapy water. There's something wrong here. So let's change it and let's test it again. So here we go again. I've plugged all the holes up properly. I found a little tapered plug that will go in there. And if you can listen now, the machine is almost shut off. The only leak there is from the hose here. Wait a minute, I just saw that now. Let's tighten that up a bit more. There we go. And the bolts that go around the flange here, I just put a bit of Teflon tape around them, but they are bubbling tiny amounts. But you can hear now. Machine's shut off. I'm happy with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've made a flange where I've just put it down somewhere. Here. So now I'm going to bolt the turbo and I've made a blanking flange for the exhaust. So I'm just going to look for a piece of rubber and bolt that on, and then we can put a cap over the intake. We can build all this side up, but that now is oil tight. That machine's still running. Just to prove it, there you go. Do you hear the air come out? Let's do it again, just in case somebody suspects I'm doing it wrong. So it's building up pressure. Compressing. If there was any leaks out of here, I put plenty of soapy water on. There's no leaks out of that rocker box at all. I wish the bloody council don't have to drag a job on. All they've got to do is fill a hole in. We've been here 2 days. Right. I can't do videos with them beeping on. So there we go. Again. So I think that's satisfied that. So let me find a piece of rubber. then we can bolt this manifold on and really get steaming on with this engine. So I've got the manifold on, the new turbo, the pipes. That's really nothing, that's just really easy nut and bolt jobs. New copper washers, new seals everywhere. I'm now testing the manifold to see if it's any leaks. I've put my flange on here, there's no leaks out of here, there's no leaks out of here, but it is leaking out of here. Now, let's go and have a look. It'll probably seal itself up, but I'll put some sealer. I think it's the intake manifold here. It's not pulling down tight. So I think I'll take that off again and put a little bit of sealer on it. That should sort that. Yeah, you can see it's bubbling quite a bit here. The rest of it's quite good. There's no bubbles around here. Nothing to see. But just a little bit there. Is it the end of the world? Well, you lose a bit of turbo power, I suppose. But and also I noticed out of here, just here. But again, I've put exhaust sealer on here. I got new pipes for this turbo, and I've put some exhaust sealer round there and round there. So at the moment, I don't think it's leaking out of there, but that needs to get warm and heated up a bit so it expands. So if it's, yeah, you can see it now bubbling out of there. I wonder if I should try my hot gun and see if it'll expand it a bit. I might just do that, and I'll take this off and I'll put some sealer on. I didn't put any RTV on it. Normally I don't, but there must be a little discrepancy in the flange somewhere, so I'll do that. Right, so I think that's just about it for the smoke test. The machine's not quite at the bottom, but it is, this cap here is leaking because it's a bad casting on here. I've tried to get the tightest cap I can. If I just get some squirty, you'll see how it's blowing out of there. And that's why I put the metal plate on first, to make sure all the block's good, and then we can build all this lot up. All I had to do was put a little bit of exhaust sealer on that gasket, on that joint, because that was a new piece of casting. All the rest seems to be fine. What else have we got to do? I think that's about it. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing that, but that's not the end of the world. But at least it's not leaking out of anywhere else. It was leaking a little bit out the seals for the turbo because they're dry, they've not been running yet, there's no oil in them, so that's to be expected. What's that? I've put the pipes on here for the oil cooler and plugged those up, because watch what happens when I unplug those. Nothing. Oh, it's a machine switched off, I think. Or is it this one that comes out? I know one of them does. Just ever so slightly. Oh, maybe it's alright now. Anyway, we're not too worried about that. I'm not going to bother putting that back in, actually. That's sorted itself out. Yeah. Now I've got to go downtown and pick a cylinder head up for a chap, and because it's Friday. I don't want to rush this too much. It's good enough to put in. I've got the back end to do, put the clutch on and things like that, but I'll support that off the engine hoist to do that. But the actual sealing of it is quite good. There's no leaks around at the bottom. You know, there's no leaks around here. You should always check around these corners here. The gasket's good. The seal's good. No problems there. I've got to put some oil in the filter and then oil in the engine as well. I'll do that all while it's here, as much as possible whilst it's here, and then we can put the engine in. So I might just do that tomorrow. I'm supposed to be doing some insulation in my house, but damn, there's so many things on at the same time. All right, let's let that test go, and then we'll see what gives putting this engine in this weekend. I don't know, maybe.